found it under a pile of towels, half twisted, half hidden, like it didn't want to be found. A hoodie, men's size, faded maroon with a cracked white logo, Wright State University, Ohio. I've never been to Ohio, never even driven through. My name's Jake, 35. I've been living with my girlfriend Lexi for 2 years in a rental just outside Savannah. One of those old ranch-style houses with too much ivy and not enough outlets. It's not perfect, but I liked it. I thought we liked it. I remember the moment exactly, Sunday early evening. I just finished folding the last of our laundry when I spotted it balled up behind the dryer. I almost missed it. Pulled it out, held it up. Felt wrong in my hands. Too light, too stretched. And then that logo, Wright State. I don't own anything from Wright State. Lexi was in the living room, legs tucked under her, watching one of those true crime shows she's always half into, half scrolling through Instagram. I held the hoodie out like a question mark. "Hey, Lex," I said, keeping my voice even. "Whose is this?" She looked up, barely. Her eyes flicked to the fabric, then back to the screen. "You're being dramatic," she muttered. "It's probably yours. You just forgot." I stared at her. Forgot? No, I don't forget things like that. I know every shirt, every hoodie, every pair of jeans I've ever kept past its expiration date. I'm not some high-volume shopper with a closet full of throwaways. I buy what I need, keep what I love, and I remember all of it. Still, I didn't push, just nodded, folded it neatly, and added it to the stack on the chair. But something had shifted. That night, after she went to bed, I stayed up, pretending to finish a movie. I waited until the lights in the hallway clicked off, then pulled the hoodie back out, slipped it on, and that's when I caught it. Cologne. Not mine. Sharp. Synthetic. Citrus layered over something musky and bitter, the kind of scent that lingers in the air like a challenge. I don't wear cologne. Lexi hates it, always said it reminded her of her ex. I stood in the kitchen, the hoodie heavy on my shoulders, heart thudding in my throat. The dog barked once, from the back door. I leashed him up, stepped outside into the humid Georgia night, and walked in circles around the block, trying to think. That's when I reached into the pocket. A receipt, crumpled, soft with age. Local cafe. 2 oat milk lattes. Dated 2 weeks ago. Name on the bottom. Nick. I didn't need to guess. That name is burned into my memory like a scar. Nick, the ex. The one she never talks to anymore. The one who moved to Atlanta. The one who wasn't a real relationship. Funny, considering he still came up every time we argued. Or rather, every time we got close to something real. She used to say I was paranoid, jealous, insecure. But I always noticed the way her voice shifted when his name slipped out. The way she paused before calling me, babe. Like the word didn't quite fit her mouth. I didn't confront her. Not then. Not yet. I'm not a man who jumps without a net. I needed to be sure. So I watched. Her habits started changing. She took her phone into the shower, said it was for podcasts. She never used to do that. I started hearing the buzz of text messages late into the night, the soft rustle of her thumb swiping across the screen while she lay beside me in the dark. She started working late. Said the firm had new clients. Deadlines. She's an interior designer. Her firm doesn't even open past 6. I checked. Then there was the laughter. Once, I walked into the room and heard her laughing. That open, breathless kind of laugh she used to give me when we first started dating. It stopped the moment she saw me. The phone vanished under a pillow. She said it was just a video her coworker sent. And still, I said nothing. I held my silence like a shield. But every time I saw that hoodie draped over a chair or folded in a laundry basket, it whispered to me. That faded maroon, that Ohio logo. It was a flag planted in the middle of our house, a foreign banner I hadn't raised. I started checking her phone when she was asleep. I'm not proud of it. But pride doesn't hold up against suspicion. I didn't find messages. She was careful. But the notifications told their own story. Instagram DMs from a username I didn't recognize. Liked photos from someone with no profile picture. Her call logs, cleared every morning. And still, I waited. It was a Tuesday when I finally searched the hoodie again. I don't know why. Maybe I was hoping it had more to say. I ran my fingers along the seams into the pockets behind the tags. That's when I found it. A hair. Long blonde. Not Lexi's. She has dark, tight curls. This was straight. Silky. And worse, it had a faint scent. The same cologne. Whoever Nick was now, he wasn't just a name from the past. He was in my house. In my clothes. In my bed by proxy. And Lexi, she kept smiling like nothing had changed. That's when I knew. The truth wasn't coming. Not from her. So I started making my own plans. I waited 2 more days. Not because I needed more proof, I had enough. The hoodie, the receipt, the laughter, the lies. No, I waited because I wanted to see if she'd come clean. If the guilt would finally crawl up her throat and make her speak. But nothing. Just the usual routine. She kissed me on the cheek in the morning. Made herself coffee. Told me not to wait up. She wore that same black blouse I once bought her for her birthday. Back when she still looked at me like I mattered. Her hair curled. Lips glossed. Phone already in her hand before she stepped out the door. I stood in the window and watched her drive off. Then I sat down at the table. Hoodie laid flat. Receipt to the left. Hair in a plastic bag. Yeah, I bagged it like I was collecting evidence from a crime scene. Because in a way, that's exactly what it was. A crime of trust. That afternoon, I tried one more time. We were in the kitchen. She was cooking something half-hearted, stirring a pot while scrolling through Pinterest on her iPad. I came in calm. Lexi, I said, can I ask you something? And I need the truth. She didn't look up. Sure. The hoodie is not mine. And the receipt in the pocket, Nick's name was on it. That made her freeze. Just a second. Barely a breath. But I saw it. The way her fingers stopped moving. The way her mouth tightened. Then she turned. Eyes wide. Innocent. You're seriously still on that? I never went to Wright State. I don't wear cologne. And I don't drink oat milk. She scoffed. Jake, I told you. I found it in the office months ago. Probably something one of my coworkers left. You're really going to start interrogating me over a sweatshirt? That word. Interrogating. It snapped something in me. I'm not interrogating. I'm asking. Because you've been acting different. Distant. She slammed the spoon into the sink. Jesus, Jake. You always do this. You spiral over nothing. You read into things that aren't there and then make me the villain. I nodded. Slow. Like I understood. But I didn't. Not really. That weekend. She said she was visiting a friend in Charleston. An old roommate, she said. We're doing a wine night. No boys allowed. I kissed her goodbye. Said, have fun. Then I waited until the door clicked shut. I opened her work laptop. She never used it for anything personal, or so she said. But Lexi was sloppy. And when I typed Nick into her email search bar, it lit up like a bonfire. Not many messages. Just 3. But enough. The last one read, same place. I can be there by 6:30. That was sent the night before the hoodie showed up in our laundry. No attachments. No details. Just the kind of message you send when there's a routine. When no explanations are needed. I stared at that screen until my knuckles cracked from how hard I clenched the desk. Then I closed the laptop. And I knew exactly what I was going to do. Monday morning, I folded the hoodie carefully. Tucked it into a paper shopping bag, one from a boutique she liked. I added the receipt, slipped in the bagged hair, and on top, a handwritten note. Property of X handle with care. Jake, her boyfriend. I drove downtown. Her office was in one of those fake modern buildings with glass fronts and overpriced cafes on the ground floor. I walked into the lobby. The receptionist looked up, smiled. Can I help you? I smiled back. I'm here to drop something off for Lexi. She left it at home. The girl nodded, reached for the bag. Want me to let her know? No need, I said. She'll know what it is. I turned and walked out. I didn't run, didn't hide. I wanted her to see my face when she came down. I wanted her to know I wasn't playing detective anymore, that I was done pretending. I made it to the sidewalk when I heard the doors behind me hiss open. Jake! Her voice, sharp, wounded. I turned. She was standing there, bag in her hands, eyes wide, pale. What the hell is this? You said you meant to return it, I said. Now you can. People were watching. Office workers on break. A woman with a stroller. A guy holding a smoothie who paused, eyebrows raised. Lexi opened the bag. I saw her mouth move, reading the note. Then her lips pressed shut. She didn't chase me, didn't call out. She just stood there, frozen, holding the proof of everything she'd tried to bury. I walked away. That afternoon, she came home early, tears already staining her cheeks. Jake, she whispered. It wasn't. I didn't mean for it to happen. I said nothing. She stepped closer. We were just talking. It was emotional. I felt seen. I felt wanted. Did you sleep with him? I asked. Her mouth opened, closed. Then, no, I swear. It wasn't physical. I stared at her. She didn't look back. I nodded. Pack a bag, I said. Go stay with your friend. I need space. She didn't argue. She just left. And still, that should have been the end. But the fallout had only begun. The silence after a confrontation is louder than the argument itself. Lexi was gone by nightfall, dragging a suitcase behind her, mascara streaking down her cheeks like ink. The dog paced the hallway. I sat in the living room, staring at the blank TV screen. Hoodie still folded neatly on the kitchen table like a flag from a defeated country. I didn't text her. I didn't ask if she was safe. Whatever she did next was her burden now. Mine was lighter than it had been in weeks, or so I thought. The next morning, I poured coffee into a chipped mug and opened my inbox. That's when it started. Subject line, just a heads up. A friend of mine, Sam, worked in the same building as Lexi's firm. He had seen the scene in the lobby. Word had spread. Apparently, Nick had been dating another woman at their company. Lexi wasn't just a side piece. She was part of a triangle. And I had just ripped the veil off the whole damn thing. By lunchtime, I got another message. Lexi's name was being whispered in break rooms, bathroom stalls. Nick had shown up late that morning, tried to act normal. But everyone had seen the hoodie, the note, the way Lexi froze when I handed it over. Then came the HR complaint. One of Nick's co-workers, the other woman, filed it. Apparently, she'd been in the dark too. Claimed workplace misconduct. Said she felt deceived, unsafe. Nick was called into a meeting. Lexi too. By the end of the week, she'd quit. Not a 2-week notice. Not a quiet resignation. She walked in Friday morning, handed in her badge, cleared her desk. I didn't hear it from her. I heard it from Sam. Again. She texted me later that evening. Hope you're happy. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then typed, I'm not happy. But you broke it. Not me. She didn't reply. The next few days passed in a blur of half-slept nights and stiff shoulders. I kept expecting her to come back, to knock on the door, to cry again. But she didn't, and I didn't reach out. Then one morning I got a letter. Handwritten. No return address. Her handwriting, I'd know it anywhere. It wasn't an apology. Not really. More of a monologue. She said she never meant for it to get that far. Said she felt lost. That I stopped seeing her the way Nick made her feel seen. She wrote, You always had one foot out the door. That made me laugh. A bitter sound in an empty house. 1 foot out. I paid the rent. I walked the dog. I picked up her prescriptions when she forgot. I sent flowers to her office for no reason. I sat through brunches with her mother who never liked me. I kept a list of the wine she liked, the shade of lipstick she wore, the date of her next dentist appointment. 1 foot out? No. I had both feet in the fire, and she still said I was distant. Because I wasn't Nick. That's what it was. That's what it always was. She wanted fire, drama, the electric charge of old history. And I was just the guy who made sure the bills were paid on time. So be it. Weeks passed. I started changing the house. Reclaimed the spaces she had once made hers. Took down the framed prints of abstract art. Boxed up the succulents. donated the throw pillows she insisted we needed. I unfollowed her on social media, but I didn't block her. Some part of me wanted her to see the silence, to feel the echo. One night, I saw that she had deleted all our photos together. Every vacation, every birthday, every random candid of us laughing in the kitchen. Erased. That hurt more than I expected. It wasn't just that she left. It's that she acted like I was never there. But the world keeps turning. One evening, I got a message from someone I didn't expect. Her sister, Emily. She'd always liked me more than she let on. We hadn't spoken since the breakup. Her message was simple. She's still not working. Staying with mom. Just thought you should know. I didn't reply. What would I say? Tell her I wasn't surprised? That Lexi always landed on her feet. Someone else's feet? Tell her I still wore that pain like a second skin? No, I let it sit. And in the quiet of my new evenings, I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. I was free. It's been a year. 12 months. Give or take. Since I folded that hoodie and handed Lexi her lies in a boutique paper bag. Since I walked out of a glass lobby without looking back, leaving the air thick with truths she couldn't deny. A year since I stopped being the man who waited to be respected, and became the man who stopped asking. I live alone now. Different zip code. Different rhythm. My new place is smaller, tighter rooms, older appliances, but it's mine. No shared decor. No compromise furniture. No passive-aggressive throw blankets. Just wood floors, clean walls. A dog who still perks up when I grab his leash. People say I look better. That I carry myself differently. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's just that I'm no longer dragging a relationship that only I was lifting. I still think about her. Not with longing. Not with hate. With clarity. The kind that only comes after distance. After the smoke clears and you see the burned foundation for what it was. Always cracked. Always sinking. I remember the small betrayals more than the big ones. The way she rolled her eyes when I asked simple questions. How she kept her phone face down during dinner. How she laughed harder at someone else's texts than she ever did at mine. That's the thing about betrayal. It rarely explodes. It leaks. Drip by drip, it soaks into the floorboards until one day the whole house caves in. And people ask, how did it happen so fast? But it didn't. It was rotting all along. I've run into people who knew us. A few mutual friends, old coworkers. Some of them still ask, do you think she cheated? Like the hoodie, the receipt, the emails weren't enough. Like it only counts if there was a hotel room and a confession. But I don't need a camera reel. I don't need a smoking gun. I had the truth. It wore her perfume. It walked with her silence. She tried to gaslight me. Tried to turn my instincts against me. And when I didn't back down, she called me cruel. Funny how truth always looks like cruelty to the liar. Sometimes I wonder if she tells the story differently now. If she paints me as the cold one, the insecure one. He dropped off my ex's hoodie at work, she probably says. In front of everyone. Maybe she leaves out the part where she lied. Where she hid. Where she chose silence over honesty again and again. But I don't care. I'm not the one still hiding. I've kept the note I wrote that day, the one I slipped into the bag. Property of X. Handle with care. I keep it in my desk drawer. Not as a trophy. As a reminder. That was the day I stopped begging for clarity and delivered it instead. That was the day I chose self-respect over harmony. Because harmony with a liar is just quiet betrayal. The hoodie is gone. Donated. Someone else's now. I hope it keeps them warm. People ask if I regret how I handled it. I don't. Could have screamed. Could have exposed every email. I didn't. I could have slashed tires. Posted screenshots. I didn't. I gave her the truth in silence and left the consequences to fall where they may. And fall they did. I don't know if she ever found another job. Don't know if she still talks to Nick. Don't know if she ever told her family what really happened. But I do know she never apologized. Not once. Not even after the dust settled. And that's all I needed to know. She didn't feel remorse. She felt exposed. Big difference. There's a strange peace in that. In knowing you didn't lose someone good. You lost someone who never valued you properly. Someone who believed your loyalty was unconditional, your love a service, your trust disposable. So now I live differently. Slower. Sharper. I listen more, not to words, but patterns. I pay attention to who laughs at their phone, who deflects questions, who calls you paranoid when your gut says something's wrong. Because that's the real lesson. It's not about revenge. It's about awakening. They say trust is earned. But more importantly, it should be observed. Maintained. Lexi broke it with a hoodie and a lie. I fixed it by leaving. That's what no one tells you. Sometimes healing looks like walking away. Quietly. Without fanfare. Without second chances. Sometimes healing means returning the damn hoodie and refusing to carry someone else's secrets any longer. 1 year later, I'm not bitter. I'm clean. No regrets. No illusions. Only clarity. And every now and then, when someone asks, "Do you think you overreacted?" I say, I gave her the easy way out. She chose the hard one. So you tell me, noticing the truth, acting on it, refusing to be gaslit. Is that overreacting? Or is that finally waking up?